For myself, I am a member of the Rotary Club of St. Albert since 2011. I grew up in Northern Alberta in a family of 6, and I had both of my parents that were involved in many volunteer municipal activities, local municipal government, and provincial governments. So at a very young age, I was very much into volunteering and helping out with our community. And I truly believe that our purpose here is to help others. I attended the U of A, first majoring in psychology, and I worked with FCSS, so Family Community Support Services, and included volunteering in Northern Alberta on Indigenous reserves areas and off reserve. I switched faculties and obtained my Bachelor of Education at the U of A in 1995. I taught high school, including English, band, phys ed, art for several years in Aspen View School Division and also the Evergreen Catholic School Division before I transitioned into commercial insurance industry in 2004. So I live currently in a Francophone family and community. I obviously sit on the executive board here for the Rotary Club of St. Albert, the chair of Learning and Development. I also sit as the chair as the St. Albert Arts Development Advisory Committee, few other community boards as well. I also volunteer with our St. Albert Food Bank, Salvation Army, our Royal Canadian Legion, which I am a continuing associate member for 20 years. And we also participate in hosting foreign exchange students from France and Japan. So again, I'm at Rotary Club of St. Albert. Feel free to reach out to me, and here to help you in all of your learning and leadership growth. Goals. So Lynn did mention and talked a little bit about you will have to plan some goals. Now, RI International President does give us some basic goals every year that we have to take a look at. They're automatically downloaded into the My Rotary in the Rotary Club Central. And Rotary Club Central, if you haven't been in there, it's basically a dashboard for your club. You have to sign into My Rotary to get there. So if you haven't done that already, you will need to go to my.rotary.org, and you'll have to go into the My Rotary and set up with your email that you use for Club Runner and a password. That will send you an email link to your email, which you can then set up your account, and you can have full access into there. Now, depending on what your access level is, as a president-elect, you'll be able to go in there, you'll be able to set goals for your upcoming year, you'll be able to pull reports, statistics, you'll actually be able to pull a report on how many members in your club have actually logged in and have registered for My Rotary. So those are things that you can all bring to your leadership team, your strategic planning team, on how you want to get people engaged in the goal setting process. So I'm just going to start screen sharing here now. And okay, here we go. All right, fun things. So here's a little introductory Rotary Club Central video for you.
Rotary wanted to support and strengthen clubs. So in 2012, we launched Rotary Club Central. It was an online tool for clubs to set goals and achieve them. But some of you didn't like it. You said it was slow, complicated, confusing. We realized that we had to do better. So we listened to you and began again. We made Rotary Club Central faster, simpler, and more friendly. Now it does what you asked for. Makes it easy for your club to set goals. Tracks the impact of your projects. Lets you view trends and plan for the future. And helps us help you. The improved Rotary Club Central will help your club succeed. Give it a try. We bet that this time you'll like what you see, and your club will be better for it. Whoa! Okay!
Here we go. Okay. So, in that Rotary Club Central in there, you will need to log into your Rotary Club Central. You go into your member center, you have your online tools, and then you can get into Club Central. So if you take a look, when you go in, you can log in or register. The member center is on the right-hand side. There is also an alternative way that you can access it. Under your other tools, you can go there as well. And then if you scroll down, once you get into the member center and you get into your My Rotary, if you scroll down, you can select the Rotary Club Central. And once you get into your Rotary Club Central, that is where you'll get right to your front dashboard page. It'll be for your Rotary Club. It'll show your logistics of your members. It'll give you some data background on male to female, age groups, and the data is only as good as the data that you input either into Club Runner if you're using that platform, or if you are actually accessing and going straight into the Rotary Club Central and accessing and adding members directly there with their information and their logistics. So I'm assuming that all of you have been able to get into Rotary Club Central. You've all registered in there. There are some courses that you can also access that are in the Rotary RI Learning Center. So if you go in there, you can go into the Learning Center. It'll show you some of the courses and some of the things that you can download. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to go straight into your Rotary Club Central. I'm going to show you kind of what it looks like, so that you know how to navigate and get around in there. So I do have that open. All right, so can you see the screen that says My Rotary?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so this is where we're at. So once you log in, you will see your name at the top right-hand corner. And then if you scroll down, it'll give you a club snapshot of your club, your website if you have one. It'll have your meeting location, your time, the number of your members, your charter date, but keep scrolling down. And then you'll get down here to your online tools. And this is where you're going to be putting in your goals. So you've got your Rotary Club Central, brand centers where you can get all kinds of cool documents, templates, Microsoft Word docs with high resolution GIFs and JPEGs that you can customize for your own Rotary Club. You can get new member certificates. You can get membership cards there. You can get brochures, you can get ideas for videos, things like that, all in the brand center. Learning center is here as well. So when we are done, you're going to want to have all of your leadership team go in and take their appropriate learning course if they're a secretary or treasurer, for example. But here we're going to go to Rotary Club Central. So you're just going to click on it. It's going to sign you into a new access point there. So it's different than where you are on your regular Rotary.org page. Okay, it's loaded. Okay, so here we go. You're going to get a dashboard, shows your membership trends, gender trends, age trends. If you have projects in there, volunteers, it'll show all of those kinds of trends, and that's just in your dashboard. Where you guys want to be going is your goal center. And in your goal center is where you're going to be actually putting in your goals for your year. There's another place I want to point out to you is called service activities. Service activities is where you're going to be able to get these projects and trending volunteers and hours put in, and it's all from the service activities. So goal center and service activities are two separate spots. If you go into your goal center, you'll be able to see what your goals are for the 2021 year that you're currently in, but then you are going to be inputting in for the next year, which is your 21-22 year. And you're going to have all kinds of areas that you can input in there. Now, the RI president will automatically download and put some goals, general goals in there for you. And then you can also choose some other ones if you want. And as Lynn said, you don't want to pick, 6 or 10. It might get a little, a little overwhelming. If you want to pick 2 to 3 goals on top of what your RI president has put in there for you, then you can. So we have like club membership and district conference attendance and training and fund contributions. So this is for your the International Foundation that you will be putting in here of a goal of what you want your club to do. Polio Plus is another one. Here's this service projects area. Again, you're going to need to go into your service activities to input service projects in there. And I'll briefly show you kind of what it looks like. We wanted to grow our Rotaract area by 1. We did do that. We wanted to do Interact clubs. We want to get 2. Of course, that's a bit difficult with the current environment that we're in right now. We did have a strategic plan that we wanted to have. We want to have online presence, social activities. So these are all different kinds of goals that you can have. Now, some of these are RI ones, so you'll see them when they come up. Ours are club membership, annual fund contributions, Polio Plus, some service projects. These were all from RI, and they're base ones, and you can increase them if you want to. And then, like I said, for service activities, you want to go into a separate one here where you can add a new project or repeat a past service project. And when you go in these, they're very user friendly. You click on it, it'll allow you to create the project. You'll need the dates. You will need the number of volunteers that you have. You will need to estimate the number of hours that are put in. And you'll have to have an estimate or a goal of what you want, and then there'll be an achievement. So what you actually achieved after the project was done. So those are all fun things there. Yes.
We have a question in the chat.
Okay.
Where you are right now. Sorry, it's Marilyn. Lou Henderson is asking if you could explain and show Rotary Showcase, since it's showing there at the top on your screen.
Rotary Showcase. I'm not seeing it.
It says import from Rotary Showcase right in the middle. Right now, you take your cursor further to the right, right there.
Oh, okay. Not sure if it's.
I don't know if your club uses, yeah, you see your club's not using Rotary Showcase. Donna, maybe you want to chime in on that. This is where when you have a great club project or any club project, you record it. Go ahead, Donna, please.
Yeah, so I know, Marilyn, your club uses Rotary Showcase, and it is a great place to share your projects. And if the more clubs use Rotary Showcase, the more valuable I think it's going to be for the clubs that use it and for the clubs that are looking for projects. And I would encourage you to, when you get on the Showcase site, you can look by the district, you can look beyond the district, and I would really encourage you to look at the one in the district that the White Avenue Club has posted. It gives you lots of details, a few pictures about the work that White Avenue is doing. And it's a great way to showcase your work and share with other clubs. Marilyn, you were the one using it. So do you want to talk a little bit about the ease of use?
I won't get into a lot of that, but because of our time, but people can go in there and play with it. It's just a way, and this is why if you go into Rotary Showcase and enter your project there, that's why that little bar says there, import it from Rotary Showcase, because all the details from the project are already populated and you put it in. So just, I think for a lot of people, even the whole Rotary Central is new, Rotary Club Central and goal setting. But this is a great example, Jody, to show what your club is doing. And another thing to remember, just if I might add something, is that we want to track our volunteer time, right? The people that are involved in your club with all of these projects, or people that you have outside of your club that are volunteering their time. Don't forget that administration time, all of your board members can also be put in there as a placeholder for volunteer hours. So just to add that one piece.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, there are some other questions here in the chat. So the Rotary Showcase is one. And as far as I understand, the 21-22 year has not been populated yet for the RI goals. I believe that comes out after the Rotary International Conference, but I might be off on that. So Donna, you might have more information in regards to when the RI populates the goal center for the upcoming year.
Yeah, it should be up shortly if it isn't already up.
Yeah, see, and when I go into ours here, when I go into 21-22, there isn't anything that's automatically downloaded yet from what I can see here.
Okay.
You're looking at my screen, so I'm not sure. We always just had ours show up. So unless there's a new process for that, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Jody,
show up the.
Jody, sorry, Dennis. Jody, do you mind if I could
please.
ask a quick question?
Yeah.
For some, one of my president-elects said that he didn't have access to the edit button, and I'm assuming that it's because you don't have access to edit the goals unless it's your year. So long as you select the proper year, they should have access to it. Is that correct?
That's definitely a possibility as well. And so that's why we're trying to get all of the president-elects added into the club runner for the following year as a president-elect, because the president and their executive team, so your secretary, treasurer, they will all have access to the goal center to add your goals and to modify them there. I know with our club, I'm a club trainer and the club admin, so normally I do. That's why I'm just a little confused as why I don't see anything there, because I can very well go into our current year and add goals or modify them and such, but it may very well be that our current club isn't up to date on adding all of their executive positions for the 21-22 year. So if you're not seeing things, that's when you need to go to your president-elect and make sure that they have updated their current club runner with that information.
In the past as well, the AGs have been for their clubs, the clubs that they're on too, that they can get into there and help the clubs.
Yeah, no, definitely, most definitely. I'm just going to stop sharing the My Rotary here. If you have more questions, by all means, please put them in the chat so that we can address it. We will save the chat and then we can address some of those questions as well, being cognizant of our time. It's 8:07. And I know there's lots of questions on the club roles that is coming up here next. So I would like to get into that as well. The one breakout question that we were going to have on the goal setting is to think about one goal that you want to set and achieve. And then how are you going to use your leadership team in setting those goals? So we're going to skip the breakout just to get into our club rules. We might have some time after our club rules to maybe come back to our goal settings on some of the goals that you want to set and achieve, and we can circle back at that time. But for our current right now, we have our next section here, which is our club roles. So I'm just going to quickly share what we have here. Because when I do a presentation mode here, when I turn on the slideshow, I'm assuming that you cannot see it. Is that correct? You cannot see this?
No, we can see it.
I can see it.
It's fine.
Okay, perfect. So your club board, there's a difference between your club board and then your club committees. And your club board consists of an elected president, your president-elect that's coming in for the next year, your secretary, your treasurer, and your immediate past president. These come from RI International as a base for your club board. Now, some of you may have amended some of your bylaws, which Randy will get into in our third session here, talking about bylaws for your club. And you may choose to amend this a little bit or not, but this is your base club board and they are elected. So as a president-elect, you can nominate people who you want as a secretary, treasurer, and your incoming president-elect coming in after you. But they do have to be brought up at a general, your AGM, and those nominees have to be presented, and they may just be elected by acclamation, or there may be calls from the floor or other people in your membership that may want to participate in that. Your responsibilities for that board is you're going to oversee the chairs and the committee work that they're doing. You have to review your finances, approve or reject new members. You're going to look at your policies and bylaws. You probably want to do that every year or a couple of years to make sure that you're in alignment with the RI bylaws and also maybe with changes that have come up. And then you always want to make innovative ways to make your club better. The pandemic has shown us that you know, there's different needs within our clubs now, that we need to be more flexible. And in order to make our club better, we have to be have a lot of member engagement and versatility in how we present our clubs and our meetings, our times, and who we're all including in there. So recommended club committees. These are appointed by the president that's in. And typically you have club committees. These are some base ones. You can have club administration, membership, public relations, service projects. Those can be further broken down into things like community services, international services, youth services, fundraising, some people call it ways and means, and then a trainer was added last year in 2020. So larger clubs, you can create a lot of subcommittees to target specific areas and tasks. And in your Leading Your Club President Manual edition, you can see in your pages there, 8 and 9 is for responsibilities, and pages 13 to 14 goes over some of your options for club committees and some of your subcommittees. So going back to your leadership style from session 1. So that was way back when we did those in January. You got to feel out your leadership style and figure out on how you're going to create your club leadership organization. So based on that style, who will you nominate to be elected to your board and appoint your committee chairs? So thinking on that, we're going to have a quick breakout that Denise is going to facilitate here for us. We're going to have you in groups of 5, possibly 6, for 5 minutes. And I want you to appoint a recorder to come back and give us an idea of who you're going to nominate to be elected to your board and who are you going to appoint to your committee chairs. So think about your strengths, your weaknesses on people who you want to come into that. And I'm just going to stop sharing here so that we have a chance to get into our breakouts. And you've got 5 minutes to discuss those questions, and then we'll come back and have a reporter come back and give us some ideas on what they came back with. Okay, while we're waiting for everyone to come back, I know there's been some questions in the chat about a goal. Once a goal is entered, if it can be edited or if it's cast in stone. And I know Donna has put in there that we can edit before July 1, and we can double check on that. But once the July 1 date starts, they're pretty much difficult to edit. I've tried to edit them and I haven't been successful in them. So you can put your goals in. That's why it's important to talk with your leadership team that Lynn mentioned. It's a team effort. So you want to make sure that if you're putting goals in there for your, for your foundation, talking to your foundation chair, make sure that's something that they want to be able to work on and accomplish. Same thing if you have some community service, items in there or other service projects, you want to talk with the chairs that you've had in there. But I just want to get back to our goal setting and our club rules. We had 2 questions there. One was a goal that you want to set and achieve. And then, of course, with our club rules is who do you want to nominate to your board? And who do you want to appoint as your committee chair, some strengths and weaknesses of them there. So I'm going to go over to, we're just going to randomly pick somebody unless I have a volunteer. Do I have a volunteer? If not, I'm going to pick somebody.
I'll volunteer. I'm Cameron from Yellowknife. In our group, we were talking about it's the most important thing is to not just like surprise people in an AGM. Like, hey, I'm going to nominate you. It's give them some heads up and approach people personally, and just say, hey, I think you'd be great on the team. I know myself. I work with my vice president quite closely, and we're thinking about, well, what is our executive going to look like when I'm the president and she's president-elect, and who's going to complement us in terms of what we're doing. And so we approached people personally. It was hard. Some of the people we approached said no. A lot of people said no. So there's people who are like that who won't step up. But if you don't ask people to step forward, they may not volunteer, and you might find somebody who's awesome who wants to be a part of it. And it's important to keep people involved, even if they're not coming to the meetings regularly.
Yeah, no, thank you for that, Cameron. Very, very true. You're going to ask people that you think are really great at it, and they may accept or they may decline, for sure. And, you may want to look at seasoned people in your club. You also may want to look at newer people in your club. Some fresh ideas that may come from some of the newer members. Just remember, with those newer members, you will need to mentor and coach them along in their role. Or you can also take a seasoned member who maybe had done the role in past and help them mentor them along in that role as well. Do we have another volunteer for either, who do you want to have on your leadership team? Who do you want to nominate to your board, and who do you want to appoint to your committee chairs, or a goal that you want to set and achieve? Do we have another volunteer, or do you want me to pick somebody?
I'll volunteer for the group. We had 2 things we were talking about. One was someone who doesn't think like the president does on other positions, roles, diversity of thought. But the other comment was that stuck with me was also people who want to speak out. You don't want people who just want to be in the background, and you really want that input, is the idea of the board and the directors.
Yeah, no, for sure, that's true, Randy. And that's good points to remember and keep in touch with. So I'm going to leave that for now for what we did in our breakouts. But those are things that you want to keep in your mind for goal setting, goals that you want to set and achieve. Include your team members with those goals and have a strategic planning session with them to talk about those goals and what you want to accomplish. And then also your specific team that you want to have for your board, and then who do you want to appoint for your committee chairs to help bring those goals into fruition.